We're moving along. This next video is all about putting the pans in. As you've seen in previous videos, I had to cut the pans out. The heater channels are completely rusted out. The Napoleon's cap was rusted and needed a bunch of replacement. Underneath the front head, I had to do a bunch of replacement there. And so all that rust has been cleaned up. The Napoleon's cap is looking really good. The back rail, a little bit of rust, not bad. Thank you, one of the guys who made a comment said that he normally has that too, so that's cleaned up. So this one, I'm putting in the pans and hooking on the heater channels and doing it that way, and then I'm going to try to set the body on it once I get the heater channels off the body and then weld it all together that way. So this next couple videos, floor pans are in. I think it's going to be going good. Thanks for watching. I'm slowly making progress. What's happening now is I finished the other side of the Napoleon's cap. So they both are basically new. I removed all the excess metal along that groove. And I had a little bit of a rust issue in the back here, right here. And I took and welded in a piece of angle iron along there so that when I put the pan in, it has some place to rest. I may have to notch the pan a little bit for that. I don't think so. It's pretty tight, and I don't think they fit quite that tight, so that should be good. So now it's time to dig the pans out. I've been waiting to pull that box open. It's time to pull the pan out and fit them in. I'm sure some of you will remember that I had measured the pans and fit them all on these cards so that I would have all my measurements ready to go. So that's where we're at, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this is all going to work out. I'm going to set you guys up and kind of do a time lapse on setting this in and seeing how that works. So. Okay, let's have a little closer look here. So that's where we're sitting right now. Notice this corner's tipped up a little bit here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. You know, the honest goodness truth, it doesn't matter that much. I can weld that in. Notice that seam, there's a little bit of a divot in the seam there, and I don't know what that's for or from, but the seam comes all the way out. It follows that all the way around the back. So here I am busy running in a bunch of the bolts. In the bottom of the heater channels, there was paint that had gotten into all the threads. And so I'm just trying to run the bolts in and out just to make sure that the threads fit really good, that things are going to go really well, and that when I put it down, I can bolt the pan in relatively easily. There's some really large washers that go on the bottom of that, and the bolts then go through the pan and bolt into the bottom of the heater channel. So that's what I'm doing right now. On the inside of the heater channel, there's actually nuts welded. And a bit of a challenge is that if one of those nuts lets go, then you're in a lot of trouble. So that's why I want to kind of make sure the threads are in good shape now, so that when I am fiddling around and having things at odd angles underneath, I'll be able to make it all fit. All the pans going into the heater channel I mean, all the pan bolts going into the heater channel. And as you saw with some of the time lapse, I had to drill some of the holes a little bit broader just so that the screws will fit. And now I have to, you see there's two holes going through there, and those two go directly there, those two. You notice that you can see the little nuts inside shift, so that's already proven a little bit of a challenge. And I have a single nut back here. I saw that pulled right through, so I need to put a big washer on that to hold it, or I'll probably use one of those pan washers that are around those other nuts and just put them on there. That'll be good and secure, and make that all fit together. That is to fit through that hole there. So we'll get that all together here right away. I have this very handy dandy tool, just picked up from Princess Auto. On one side you see it punches holes. The other side it puts a little dimple so you can lap weld. These are the holes that I'm punching, and I will be plug welding all the way along. Now along the back end I'm going to actually throw a bead in there because it's a double layer, because I had to cut some of the stuff. I had to cut that bracket off, and so I still have part of the bracket left there, so I'm just going to use a clamp, pull it together, and bead weld along the very back edge. That's going to be really strong, so I'm not worried. Next steps are to get to get the screws in the right place. I set a couple and I said, okay, now I can start videoing. And as I look, I obviously don't have it set in the right place, because those that is supposed to be right there. So we will try to wrestle this through. Okay, so I have most of those in there now. And those are just finger tight, and I'm going to get them a little tighter, but I'm not going to tighten them up. I'm going to leave them, 3 or 4 threads loose. But you can tell it, like this is all put together. It's all looking really good until you get to there. So I'll take my drill and whittle that one a little bit wider. So actually that's not bad. I've heard of people who have had to do a lot more modifications before they can get their things to work. And the reason I want to whittle that one wider is I could probably force it in there, but then it's going to be tight this way. And so when I get this bolted on, I really wanted to have some freedom so I can get it nice and tight up into the groove that's along there. If you notice, I've got that shined up pretty good, and I'm going to be welding into that. So good to go. The only other thing that I wanted to show you is that I got the 2 bolts in under here. And now we have to get the bolt in back here. Almost ready to start welding the heater channel. The thing that slowed me down briefly was I had run out of gas, argon gas, so I'll just hook that up to the back fitting, and I'll be good to go. And I will be welding all that around there, and I'll just be spot welding. I was going to drill holes and do plug welding all the way along there, and yet the pan sits on there. Again, you'll notice that there's a bolt that goes through over here. There's a bolt that goes right through there and into that heater channel spot. I trust you can see that. And then, as you notice, in front, the heater channel. So I put in a time lapse here, and just a brief highlight. I did get the bolt back in there. I pulled it nice and tight. I ran up some of the other bolts along the way, and it's nice and tight. So I didn't put plug welds in on this side. The plug welds on the other side, I noticed that some of the holes were actually going out a little bit too far, and I actually had to do quite a bit of filler welding in there. Let's have a look and see what it looks like. So you can see I've spot welded it all the way along and through the back. There we go. Around the front. Next steps in this, actually those welds look good enough. I'm not going to grind anything down. I'm just going to do a spray paint. So I'm going to clean the tunnel. So my next project, cleaning the tunnel, clean all the back rails and get the transmission cleaned up, get the boots on the transmission replaced, and basically clean up all the frame here, and also clean up that over there, and then start reassembly. And so that's going to be a lot of cleaning. And the next really big project is replacing the heater channels in there. And literally that means removing those ones, welding some supports in place, but we'll show you how to make that happen when the time comes. Well, that's a wrap on replacing the pans. There's a lot better videos out there, but this is how I did it. I am going to be tipping the whole frame up after I get it all cleaned up and stuff. I'll be tipping the whole frame up, and I'll be putting a sealer all the way through there. And I have a few cans of that around here. It's called Rocker Guard, but when it comes out quite thick, and I'm going to do a sort of a seam sealing all the way around with that, and then cleaning it up real good, and hopefully stop any rust from in there. So thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and looking forward to connecting with you real soon. Thanks for waiting for a long time between videos, but that's really the way my life is going right now. So blessings to you, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.